Hey everyone, Nicole Herrick here with you. Have a look at my disgusting couch. Now, I've had this couch for about 10 years and I absolutely love it, and I do get it professionally cleaned about once every 12 months. And it comes up looking good, but never perfect. The buttons are all worn and yeah, in the crevices it still stays dirty. So I'm gonna rip my couch apart so I can stick it in the washing machine. So the first thing I need to do is have a look underneath the couch cushions to see how the couch is actually made and put together. Okay, so doing some investigating here, I can see that there is a zip on this cushion and it goes all the way around to sort of around that corner. But we are connected just here. Yeah, you just have a look down in there and see if there's a better way, Coco. No? All right, get out of the road. What I'm thinking is I'm going to unpick... I'm going to unpick around here. On this one, I can't seem to find a zip anywhere. But, yeah, we might just have to cut this all off and see how we go. Okay, so I have here a seam ripper or unpicker and just a Stanley knife. So I'm going to try with the unpicker first because I think that will be the gentlest way, and if it's too difficult, I'm just going to cut the bloody thing off. Okay, so here is what we look like. And how awesome is this? There's actually brand new non-worn buttons that I can just put on the other side to replace these disgusting ones. They're all worn off. But yeah, so it didn't come off quite as cleanly as I was hoping. But basically all I need to do is remove all this black piece and cut a new piece that's going to be the exact right size. I'm now going to pop all the buttons off. Okay, so now that I have this piece off, I'm going to use this as my pattern for the new piece. There are some pieces where I cut a little bit too deep, so I just have to make allowances for that with a little bit extra over that side and anywhere else that I cut it too shallow. Okay, let's take this off. Okay, so on this side of the lounge, the zip is actually in the bottom lining piece. So that is interesting. Okay, so here is my couch cushion A, the cover that I've ripped off. So I want to just go around and have a check of any bits where I sort of ripped too far and just sort of see how much fabric I need to make sure I've allowed for there. I've also got a little rip here that I need to repair and make sure that that's nice and strong. And I want to cut off all this excess here. And what I want to do is have a look at the black piece and see how big that is. So this is the black piece that was on the bottom that I've cut off. What I'm gonna take note of is where the actual stitch line goes and where it comes along here, because that's what I want to be measuring, not necessarily the outside full measurements of this, but measuring where the stitch lines go. And then maybe I need to sort of add an extra centimetre or so, because I want to be making sure that this is the exact same fit when I'm putting it back on. Okay, so this is my largest ripped piece. So I'm just measuring. So if I make it an extra 4 centimeters from my original stitch line, so this is my original stitch line. If I change the new stitch line to be 4 centimeters, then that means that I need to make this new piece 5 centimeters larger and give myself a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Does that make any sense? So my original stitch line is 147.5 times 50. So we want to add 10 centimeters, so 5 on each side. So it's actually going to be 60 by 157.5. So this is the size of my new piece of black stuff that I need to cut, but I'm actually going to cut it in a color similar to this so that I can wash them together. I'm definitely going to insert this piece and sew it all in before I actually wash it, because I want it to be really nice and stable. If I wash it, it's going to become all wibbly and possibly not end up in the same shape. So I want to make sure that I've got that all sewn in before it gets out of shape. Okay, so here I have all of my edges all pinned together. So this is right sides facing together. This is the outside. Yeah, let's hope this sews up to be the right size. Okay, so now I'm going to test and just make sure that it actually fits back on to the cushion perfectly, whether I need to take it in a little bit and if there's any issues. Okay, so I haven't quite got it fully zipped up, but I can tell that this is going to be a really nice snug fit. So I'm going to now overlock the inner seams and then I can pop this baby in the wash. Okay, so this is my cushion B. So on this one, it doesn't actually have a zipper around the edge like the other one did. This one actually has a zipper that is through the center of the backing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to unpick this zipper out of the backing, make my new piece of backing, and then I'm actually going to insert this zipper into the corner and around the back. You're not going to see it anyway, and it's just going to be much easier for me to take the covers off and put them back on anytime, because I think trying to insert it through the backing is going to be really difficult. Now this process is going to be really good to watch if you don't have any zips in your cushion covers at all and you want to insert them into your cushions. Okay, so to make the slot for my zip, I'm simply going to find the halfway point between these two seams. Okay, so what I want to do is create a Y. So this is going to come down straight, but I need to create just a little Y here that I cut as well. And then this is going to allow me to sort of fold back these pieces. So this is where I'll be folding back the pieces. And then you can see that that gives me enough space to be stitching along here and along here to insert this into my hole that I create. Okay, so I'm going to use a seam ripper or unpicker just to start my first little bit. Just so I can get my scissors in there. And preferably a smaller pair of scissors than these would be easier. But somehow mine seem to go missing all the time. And now I'm just going to cut down my center line all the way around. Okay, so now it's a bit easier to see what I mean with my V here. So if I fold this edge over here and fold this edge over here and then this one back, you can see that now I have a nice little channel, and this is actually going to sit over the top of this, and then I'm going to stitch from the other side. So I'm starting from whichever end allows me to have the minimum amount of fabric. All the rest of the fabric is over here. I'm going to just fold this edge down as I go. It's only about 4 millimeters that I'm folding down. I've got a Y up here, but I'm just starting on this left-hand edge. I'm going to go all the way down, and then I'm going to come back up to this section and then stitch that down that side, just so that the little amount of fabric is always over here. Okay, let's go. So now that I've stitched my hole all the way around, just so that I have a nice even edge, I'm simply going to pop this in the middle and stitch all the way around the edge again. And I'm just going to try and stick as close to this edge as possible. As you get to your corners, you'll need to make little slits along the rounded edge here on the outside. This is so that you can allow the fabric to ease around. Otherwise you'll end up, nothing will align correctly. Let me just show you that. Okay, so here is my little slits that I've made around the corner. They look a little bit wonky because I did them with my pinking shears instead of normal scissors, but yeah, that's going to allow us to ease around the corner. Here is how it should be looking. Mine's really rough because I actually unpicked it like loads of times because it wasn't sort of lining up because I hadn't done the little snippies in the corner. But yeah, just so you can see, there's where my Y was, and I have a nice straight edge. Okay, so I'm going to use just a regular powdered laundry detergent, and I'm just going to do about half a cup of this. But I'm also going to add some electric washing soda, about the same amount of that, and then I'm also going to put in some powdered Oxy Action Soaker. Again, just a small amount. About the same amount, half a cup. Okay, so I'm going to put the water level on high, and I'm going to make sure that I'm on cold. We do not want any shrinkage whatsoever. And I'm going to do it on maxi wash so that it has lots of time to wash. So now that we have the pre-wash done and we've got rid of a lot of the dirt, it's time to soak. So I want you to use 1 tablespoon of upholstery cleaner, 2 tablespoons of Oxy cleaner, and 1 tablespoon of rubbing alcohol. And this is that magic ingredient that will get pretty much any stain you can imagine out. Give that a soak for about 3 hours, and then you can move on to step 3, which is just giving it another wash, the same as step 1. Okay, now let's take a look at what I've got left of the base of my couch. So I need to cut a new piece that is going to fit in here, and I simply hemmed that piece to the right size, and I also added some Velcro, and then I'm also going to add some Velcro to the underside of my cushions just so that they stay nice and secure in place. So I'm going to be using a mattress needle or an upholstery needle, basically just any curved needle, to stitch this all the way around, and it's going to take bloody ages. So once all of my new slip covers are done and I've got zips in there so they're easy to put on, I'm going to put it back on. Oh yeah. Okay, so I have here my covered button with a loop back and the longest needle I could find, and I'm using fishing line for this. I would normally use a fine string, but I don't have any fine strings, so this is going to do. And I've also got the back button. So the first thing we want to do is thread one side through the top button, and then I'm going to thread both of the ends through the eye of the needle and just bring it down about halfway. And now we're going to pop the needle through to the back side. So now that I have my 2 strands, I'm going to put one of the ends through the back button. And then I'm going to grab this top thread and just drape it over my finger. Drape the other one over the top and bring it back down and around again. And then I'm going to go through this upper part here. Okay, and then I'm going to drop this loop and then pull this until it tightens to exactly where you want it to tighten to. There we go, and that's its slip knot. Then I'm going to tie this off twice and we're done. And I will trim those off, and let's do all the other buttons.
No. No. No.